think we're good now, Joe.
And we are back live from the CSI Baseball Complex on the campus of the College of Staten Island for Game 2 of today's non-conference doubleheader between the College of Staten Island and Chestnut Hill University. Once again, my name is Joe Foreman alongside my broadcast partner, Nick Bavona. And we are just underway from CSI as that pitch misses for ball 4, though the scoreboard did say 2-1. Of course, the Dolphins' opponent today, Chestnut Hill College, as once again, we are ready to come on the air. Everything, all good, ahead of our lead-up, and our mixer did not turn on. I started the intro and immediately could tell there was no sound in my ears. Second time today. The power supply went out. Our good power supply is the runner on first. R.J. Huth is forced to head back. Make that Huth my mistake. I'm a bit perplexed at the moment regarding the statics.
Miscombobulated right now.
I'm all discombobulated. I'm perplexed over the status of our mixer here. The equipment not cooperating is the one thing that gets me truly upset calling games. There's only one thing that can make me angry. It's faulty equipment. But in a moment, we'll get you the starting lineup. First, for the visiting Griffins, R.J. Huth leading off. He's on first base. Aiden Myers once again will bat second. Michael Pasco bats third. Justin Geiger in the cleanup spot. Phoenix Bowman bats fifth. John Crane bats sixth. Christian Peluso bats seventh. Bobby Sabatino bats eighth. And Dan Ciotti bats ninth. So an identical lineup for Chestnut Hill in Game 2. And taking a look at the defensive alignment, I think everyone's in the same positions as well. So
A.J. Vigliotti, though, differently, is behind the plate for the Dolphins here today.
We didn't get that far yet. You're getting ahead of me, Nick. But for the Dolphins, I think what you were insinuating was almost correct. Anthony Iracy is in there. Thomas Martin goes to first base. As you mentioned, Vigliotti will catch, which moves Michael Kehoe to center. Chris Polamini moves to right. Michael Palermo out of the lineup. He got the start right in Game 1, so he will not start Game 2 as the runner is going. Huth on his way to second, but that misses for ball 4. And Nick Pusinelli has 2 early walks. We'll get you the numbers for Pusinelli in just a moment. Coming in, Pusinelli has appeared in 2 games. Across 4 innings, he's allowed 4 hits and 3 runs, all of those earned. He has not issued a walk coming in, so those walks his first 2 of the season. And he struck out 6, opposing batters hitting .250 against him.
And obviously now he'll face a dangerous hitter coming up, Joe. We mentioned his numbers in game number 1. But Michael Pascal comes on first and second, still nobody out for the Griffins.
And already a conversation at the mound. You'd guess that's pitching coach Vinny Fiore out there.
Very long conference that they had at the mound.
We'll see. That turns this inning a bit, as Pusinelli has been all around the strike zone early in this outing. And he has a very dangerous hitter at the plate here. And it always makes it a bit worse when you face the number 3, number 4 hitter coming in hitting nearly 400 with nowhere to put him. Michael Pasco opened the day hitting at 426. He's quickly ahead 1-0 here. And that heads straight to the backstop. That one not close. As Vigliotti tracks it down, both runners advance. And the Griffins have 2 in scoring position early. We had to attend to our camera behind the plate. It appears the camera in right field is once again giving us video transmission issues. Now, what I'll probably do is pass along another camera battery, and we'll swap that out. I think that may have to do with low battery on the camera. I could be mistaken, But I'll head out there and take a look during the next half inning and try and troubleshoot that. Nick, you'll take over when I come back. For now, it's 2 in scoring position, nobody out. At the plate, Pasco with a chance to drive in a pair with a base hit. But ahead 2-0, he will look at a strike. And the count runs to 2-1.
With second and third, nobody out. Dolphins will try their best to escape this jam here in the early stage of this game.
That pitch misses down and away, and it's now 3-1. I mentioned the big game for Chestnut Hill earlier. They won 12-5. Got off to a nice start in that game as well. Scored a couple in the first inning. Internet not cooperating, but I'll have some of the stats from that game in a moment. As that ground ball is handled at third by Cetera, the game's first run comes in to score, and the throw to first is in time to retire Pasco for the game's first out.
Nice job by Cetera right there. Tough grounder to third base. Took it on a hop, but made a nice strong throw to first in time. First out of the inning as the Griffins take an early 1-0 lead.
Some of the standouts in Game 1 for Chestnut Hill included Pasco. He was 2 for 4, 4 runs scored, 2 RBIs. Check that, 2 for 3. Drew a couple of walks in that game as well. The man at the plate, Justin Geiger, was 2 for 2 with 2 walks, scored a run, and drove in a run. And behind Geiger, Phoenix Bowman had just 1 hit and 3 at-bats, but he drove in 3 runs. John Crane also 2 for 3 with a couple of RBIs. So a lot of hitters in this Griffins lineup had good games in the early game. And in the first inning, as I mentioned, the Griffins scored twice. They would never trail in the game. CSI tied the score at 2. Chestnut Hill immediately went in front 5-2. And from there, they never looked back, though things got quite interesting in that final inning for a short time there.
Dolphins brought up 5 straight pinch hitters, all of them reaching base safely. The Dolphins made it interesting. 12-5, they had nobody out in the inning. Looked like CSI was on pace to make it what would have been an unbelievable comeback.
That would have been one for the ages. The Dolphins never did bring the tying run to the plate. Closest they got was trailing 12-5 with the bases loaded and nobody out. Comes to 3-1. And that's on the inside corner.
Geiger did not think so.
No, he didn't. He tossed the bat away and was headed up the first base line. Instead, he will see a 3-2 pitch. There's a big pitch in the inning, as Pusinelli's already had to throw 19. And the 3-2 is fouled straight back. We'll do it again, 3-2. Pitch on its way. And that's high for ball 4. That will bring up Phoenix Bowman.
Didn't want to take that opportunity away from you, Joe, to say it here the first time here in the second game.
Well, we got to say it quite a few times in the first game.
He did.
Two on, 1 out. Bowman takes high for ball 1. As I mentioned before, Bowman drove in 3 in the first game. Base hit here could add 1 more to that RBI total. A ground ball could end the inning. And Bowman gets ahead 2-0. Pusinelli has to throw a strike here. Can't afford to load the bases on a walk. And he misses high. Man on deck, John Crane had a nice game 1 as well, so there's no relief there. And Pusinelli is running out of places to put base runners. Here comes the 3-0. And that is ball 4. So Bowman did not have to swing the bat. He draws a 4-pitch walk. And now John Crane will come to the plate.
You mentioned John Crane's performance in game number 1. A huge performance for the Griffins, but also saw something very unusual with John Crane in that first game as well.
Enlighten us.
If you didn't know, so Crane hit a gapper into right center field.
That.
Rounded first.
It was a long time ago, Nick.
Then got to second base, and apparently he did not step on first base, leading to a putout.
This could be 2, 4, 6, 3. Double play. And the inning is over. The Griffins strand the bases loaded as Nick Pusinelli gets a big ground ball to escape danger in the opening inning. He limits the damage to 1, and Chestnut Hill leads Staten Island 1-0.
The legacy began in 1973. That was the year NCAA Division II was born. And since the very first day, our division has shaped generations of student athletes with a true sense of academics, athletics, and community. That is 5 decades of graduations, championships, teamwork, and personal development. 50 years of shaping student athletes into world-class leaders. NCAA Division II. Our division, our legacy.
And we are back from the CSI Baseball Complex, where I believe we have solved our camera issue in the outfield. Now, unless someone got very curious and started changing the channel on our receiver, somehow it ended up on channel 6. So
How would that have changed, though, from in here?
if anyone touched it, obviously that could change it, but I doubt that happened. So for one reason or another, the receiver decided that it wanted to receive a signal on channel 6. Our camera in the outfield is on channel 2. So you're not going to get a good signal transmitting from 2 and receiving on 6.
Right.
I've changed it back to 2 here in the booth, and I think we're going to be okay.
We hope.
We hope.
We hope.
I have no idea what would possess the receiver to switch channels like that.
So I'm wondering, was that the issue we had maybe at softball?
I have a feeling that was the issue, and because the camera is mounted up on the fence, I cannot check what channel the transmitter is on. I can only see what channel the receiver is on. So without being able to check what channel we're transmitting from, I'm changing channels blindly. That being said, there are only so many channels. I think it goes 1 through 9. So I have a feeling that if we had just changed the channel on the receiver, we'd be okay. But this is our first season using the new technology. We're still learning. But our outfield camera should be good for the rest of this game. Michael Kehoe will lead things off for the Dolphins, and we'll get you the full CSI lineup here. As behind Kehoe, it will be Burkhead, Vigliotti, Polomini, Martin, Iraci, Cetera, Solito, Rodriguez, and then, of course, on the mound, Nick Pusinelli, who did a great job to escape a really tough first inning for him. Really labored through the inning, loaded the bases, allowed a run, but limited the damage to 1. And we've said it so many times, what teams do with 2 outs goes a long way toward determining the outcome of games.
And the Dolphins getting that inning-ending 4-6-3 double play was huge for them to get out of it and only surrender just 1 run, considering it looked like the Griffins were on pace to score more.
Starting pitcher for the Griffins, Dylan Broderick. We'll get you his numbers very quickly. Across 3 appearances, all starts, he's pitched to a 1-1 record. In 14 2/3, he's allowed 21 hits, 11 runs, 10 of those earned. He's walked 5 and struck out 14. Opposing batters hitting .350 against Broderick. So definitely an opportunity here for the Dolphins to take advantage of a pitcher who's allowed a .350 batting average against this year. Walks typically have not been an issue for him, but he leads off the game with a walk here as Kehoe is on to start the home first inning.
So nice inning starter for the Dolphins with that walk. Bringing out Brian Burkhead here. And we know Kehoe's base path can really run the bases well. If Burkhead were to maybe get something here into the gap, And who knows? Maybe Kehoe tries to attempt to steal at some point.
Burkhead the batter. Kehoe the runner on first. Nobody out. Bottom of the first inning. That pitch is taken down and in for ball one. Now, Stephanie, I'm really happy you went and added those zeros on the scoreboard because I was getting quite perturbed looking at it. Yeah. Don't like it when the hits and error columns have no number in it. You have to manually add the 0 and a blank scoreboard, not my friend. Don't like it. As Kehoe's back in safely. That was really close at first.
Too close for comfort for the Dolphins.
Over the course of a game, plays that seem at the time inconsequential or not overly impactful, those plays sometimes come back, and later you'll think about it and wonder what could have been. And in that first game, if you go back, Dolphins had a runner on first, a chance to perhaps get something going, and I think it was Brian Burkhead who was caught stealing at second. And that took away an opportunity from A.J. Vigliotti with a man on base. And early in that game, at the time, didn't seem like the biggest play, but the way that game developed a bit later, obviously, it was a lopsided final score. But had the Dolphins gotten a run in that inning, you never know how that game could have shaken out.
It really is. I'll make my point in a second. That one takes a bounce off the mound. They can't find the ball, and Kehoe's going to get into third base, Joe.
That pitch bounced on its way in. Kehoe was running, and it was lost behind the plate. So a wild pitch and 2 advancements on that wild pitch. So it's a wild pitch plus at the scorers table.
Now, going back to your comment from earlier, obviously, where you give the opportunity for Vigliotti to get an RBI, you never know how the game's going to turn out at that state because there's different stages of this game where different scenarios can happen. And obviously, if the Dolphins had an RBI chance for Vigliotti there and he's able to deliver, who knows how the game can turn out the rest of the way.
It's something to remember. Burkhead was only on first base, but early in that game, as Burkhead strikes out swinging on the high fastball, early in that game, with runs being at a premium, you would have liked to have seen Vigliotti get that opportunity. And then later in the game, Vigliotti was on deck when the Dolphins had 2 on and 2 outs. And after a good at-bat, good battle by Chris Polomini, he lined out to left field to end the inning, and Vigliotti was denied a chance again.
We see a little bit of a change at the Dolphin top of the order. Obviously, Vigliotti in Game 1 was the cleanup hitter for the Dolphins. He now bats third, and he switches spots with Chris Polomini, who's on deck.
Vigliotti seems to be heating up now. These last couple of days, he's had some good games. And he takes out of the zone there for ball 2 as he gets ahead 2-0. He was 1 for 3 with a run batted in Game 1. Now, how did that wire get over here? As Vigliotti takes a strike. Now, we have a wire that's now obstructing the stats laptop. I'm not sure how that happened, though I'm not sure that we need that plug in anymore. Actually, we do not, so I'll take care of that. But Vigliotti's still ahead in the count, 2-1. For those who aren't familiar with our setup, we are all sharing with everything in the strip.
Now you're good now.
All right, so apparently plugging additional devices into our power strip compromises our mixer. Why that is, I have no idea. Is there not enough power to supply the mixer?
I don't know. Maybe. But
what we're going to do during the break, we're going to take the plug for our receiver and plug it in under the table. We'll plug the charger in somewhere else, and hopefully that eliminates our audio problems as Vigliotti strikes out swinging, and there are 2 away. Now, Nick, that one hurts because with a runner on third and less than 2 out, Dolphins had 2 chances, and both come up empty.
And you talk about it a lot of times where if you have a runner on third and a couple of outs, you want to bring home that runner for sure. Dolphins now 1 out away from potentially not bringing him home.
It will be left to Chris Polomini. Polomini ahead here, 1-0. And he looks at a strike. Polomini in the first game went 0 for 3. Left a couple on base. Both of those came when he lined out to left. And Polomini went around there. He's now behind 1-2. Big pitch here coming up as the Dolphins hope to tie the score. Broderick looks to escape the first unscathed, and he misses in the dirt for ball 2.
It's now a 2-2 count for Polomini here with Martin on deck. Polomini trying to bring home the tying run for CSI.
Here comes the 2-2. That's fouled away. We saw Polomini put together a good at-bat with the 2 runners on in the first game. Lengthy battle. It resulted in an out. He hopes to come through here and tie this game. Count 2-2. Pitch on its way. And that's fouled off again. Count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes on the CSI right fielder. We have Broderick at 23 pitches in this first inning, so he's had to work hard. Another 2-2 coming, and that's a called strike 3 on the outside corner. Good-looking breaking ball there from Dylan Broderick, and he picks up the big strikeout to strand the tying run at third. The Dolphins got Kehoe over to third base with nobody out, and they failed to score. Our score through 1, Chestnut Hill 1, Staten Island nothing.
Now batting for the Griffins, the catcher, number 19, Christian Peluso.
Back here for the top of the second here at the CSI Baseball Complex. Score currently 1-0 lead for the Griffins. Christian Peluso will lead it off here for Chestnut Hill. He hits us 1 to third. Nice scoop up by third by Cetera. He'll throw it on to first base in time to record the first out of the inning. It's another nice play by Anthony Cetera at third. As Bobby Sabatino now comes up to the plate here for the Griffins. Had a big game 1 offensively and defensively for Chestnut Hill. Sal misses on the outside for a ball, 1-0.
All right, thank you, Nick. I had some quick business to attend to next door. We're all set now. That pitch misses out of the zone for ball 2. So after getting a quick out to start the inning, Pusinelli behind 2-0 here. And that's fouled back by Bobby Sabatino. Mildly surprised he swung 2-0.
Just mildly.
But with one out in the inning, not quite as surprising. That misses inside for ball 3. And that's off the glove of Vigliotti, but it missed high. And once again, Pusinelli issues a walk. That will bring up Dan Ciotti.
So Dan Ciotti also, Joe, in game 1. Doing good work on both sides for the Griffins. Had a couple, we saw it in left center field, robbed of a hit by Chris Polomini, but also had some big plays in left field for the Griffins defensively.
Ciotti at the plate was 1 for 3, 2 runs scored, and drew a walk. And he takes way upstairs for ball 1. Well, it looked like Nick Pusinelli might get chased early. He then got the ground ball he needed. That being said, he could really use a quick inning here after working very hard in the first. Dolphins were fortunate yesterday, didn't have to use much bullpen. Got a complete game shutout from Gerard Santos in game 2. That certainly helps. In game 1, they had to use, I believe, 3 relievers to get through that game. Innings 5, 6, and 7. As that pitch misses inside. First, Zayas and Fiore all pitching in game 1 for the Dolphins. Out of the bullpen in addition to Rice. That's a 4-pitch walk. Griffins now have 2 on.
Dangerous spot here. Still 1 away in the inning. Obviously, so the double play will end the inning for the Dolphins. At the top of the first, they would love another one right here.
Back to the top of the order now. R.J. Huth will be the batter. Huth in the earlier game, 0 for 3. One of the few Griffins that did not reach base in the game. There weren't many. Here he's behind 0-1. Sabatino, the runner on second. Ciotti at first. 1 out in the inning. And there is action in the Dolphins' bullpen. Pusinelli comes set. His pitch on its way.
Hit him.
Hit the batter. I'll tell you. That was taken, it appeared on the hand or wrist about as well as possible. Maybe that caught some bat as well. I'm not sure, but
Going to lead to a pitching change as well for the Dolphins. It's going to be Dennis Kelly coming in.
Huth took that like a champ. And spoiler alert, it will be Dennis Kelly coming into the game to pitch. So as the Dolphins make a pitching change, we'll step aside and take a quick break. We'll be right back from the CSI Baseball Complex. Griffins lead the Dolphins 1-0. Chi Aesthetics Med Spa and Wellness Center. Our approach to beauty and wellness begins with a holistic plan tailored to the unique needs of our patients. When we consult with patients, we let them tell us what their problem is. We don't tell them what the issue is. We find out what they're looking for, and we discuss, and then we give them options. If you're looking to achieve radiant skin, you've come to the right place. We offer hydrofacials, microneedling, Opus Plasma, peels, facial and laser treatments, laser hair removal, body sculpting, fat freezing, hormone replacement therapy, Botox, IV drip therapy, and more. We are open Monday through Saturday and are located at 720 Forest Avenue, Staten Island, New York, 10310. We hope to see you soon. Visit our website at www.chiaesthetics.com for more information. And we are back from the CSI Baseball Complex where a new pitcher is in for the Dolphins. And as we mentioned ahead of the break, it is Dennis Kelly who will take over for Nick Pusinelli. We'll get you Kelly's numbers on the season very quickly ahead of his first pitch. Kelly comes in, having appeared in 3 games. He's pitched 4 2/3. He's allowed 6 hits and 8 runs. 7 of those earned. He's walked 5 and struck out 2. Opposing batters hitting at .375 against him.
And an all-important spot for him coming up here with bases loaded and 1 out. Still only a 1-run game, but the Dolphins don't want this inning to get away from them. They could really use a double play to have Martin for now creeping in at the corner. The rest of the infield staying back for a potential double play ball.
The Dolphins would love to get another big ground ball in this spot. They got one in the first. Basically the exact same situation. Bases loaded, 1 out. And they got the ground ball they needed. They'd certainly take a strikeout, a pop-up on the infield. Anything to keep this a 1-run game.
Fanatics not happy with the home plate umpire.
Well, there have been a lot of balls called in this game, and most of those have been thrown by the Dolphins. So the Fanatics in the dugout getting a bit riled up as that's hit out to center. Should be playable for Kehoe. He's got it. A run will come in to score. And going from second to third is Ciotti. It's a sacrifice fly for Aiden Myers. And the Griffins now lead it 2-0.
So not necessarily the worst thing for the Dolphins there, again, forcing that sacrifice fly right there, giving the Griffins a 2-0 lead. But with Michael Pasco up to the plate, don't be surprised here, Joe. You do have the empty base open at second if they maybe walk Pasco to load the bases. But still, as we mentioned, there's no really easy spot, soft spot in this lineup for Chestnut Hill.
Runner going from first, and the Dolphins will not throw. And obviously, in a situation like this, you don't have too much of a choice there. But you hate to be in a position where you have to concede a runner into scoring position. That's taken up and away for ball 2. Pasco 0 for 1 in this game with an RBI. That misses for ball 3. First base was opened up by the stolen base, but obviously Kelly not looking to walk a batter here. That's in for a strike. With the day Geiger's had, he's not necessarily a batter you want to face, but if you have a choice, based solely on the numbers coming into the day, Pasco's been slightly better for what it's worth. And now Kelly's back in the at-bat as the count runs full 3-2.
1 strike away from getting out of the inning, keeping it a 2-run game.
That would be a victory for the Dolphins if they could keep this at 2. But it won't happen here as Pasco draws the walk, and that will bring up Justin Geiger with the bases loaded.
So Geiger now comes up with the bases loaded. They could really open up this game early, Joe, with 1 big swing into the outfield.
Geiger in the first game only had a couple of official at-bats. He was 2 for 2 with an RBI, walked twice and scored a run. He's behind here 0-1 and has a chance to potentially break this game open with an extra base hit. Dolphins hoping to avoid that as that's fouled away, and Kelly gets ahead of him 0-2.
And he could really use a strikeout here to get out of this jam and keep it a 2-run contest.
If Kelly could escape the inning here, that would be a huge boost for this Dolphins team, and that will do it. As Martin catches that one on a line over at first base. It may have been just outside the view of our camera, though I think we may have caught it from right field. We'll see. And the Dolphins do escape the inning, allowing just a run. Good job in relief by Dennis Kelly. As for the Griffins, they will take a 2-run lead into the home second.
The Kettle Black on Staten Island, a top 5 wing joint in America by Food and Wine magazine. Serving daily lunch and dinner at the bar or on the floor. Perfect for family and group parties with top shelf drink and delicious food. From great times with good friends. Live sports and watch parties. To Staten Island's hottest nightlife. The Kettle Black features live music and DJs weekly. The Kettle Black features daily and nightly food and drink specials. The best Staten Island has to offer is at the Kettle Black. We'll see you there at the Kettle Black, located on 415 Forest Avenue, Staten Island.
Bottom of the second inning, Thomas Martin leading it off for the Dolphins. They trailed this one down 2-0. Dolphins were able to avoid, though, any further damage after the Griffins had the bases loaded. Martin takes that one low and outside for a ball. Count now going at 2-0. Deck for CSI, Anthony Iracy. So CSI looking to get tying run up to the plate. 2-0. That one drilled into left field. Is it going to stay fair? It does. And then one bounces off the wall. Martin will round first into second standing with a leadoff double. It happened again, Joe.
I am Jinx Prime, Nick. There is no question about it. I take the headset off to attend to technical issues, and sure enough, as soon as I do so, Thomas Martin crushes one out toward the left field wall. That one hopped the fence, as you said, Nick, and Martin pulls into second with a leadoff double. That will give Anthony Iracy an opportunity with a runner in scoring position and nobody out. And you just get the sense, Nick, I've said it time and time again, this is a situation where the Dolphins need to come through with a run.
And after missing the opportunity in the first inning where they had the runner on third, and now they're going to have another runner on third, Joe. We have a balk.
Is that our third game in a row with a balk? As in third day with games where we've seen a balk.
So we saw it. Did
we have a balk on Wednesday?
We had one this week. I don't remember which game it was. But
we had one yesterday.
We did have one yesterday.
Did we have one on Wednesday?
We might have.
I think this may be our third doubleheader in a row where we've seen a balk. Certainly we've had one in 2 out of the 3 doubleheaders.
After this next pitch, we'll show a replay of the Thomas Martin double.
There's a big swing and a miss. Here's another look at that double.
Off the bat, Martin drilling that one into left field. The wind took it a little bit more, Joe. Could have been a home run.
That misses high. Camera all good in the outfield?
Looks to be that way.
Well, if that battery on the camera makes it through this entire game, I'll be shocked. That would be impressive.
Too.
That is a very big battery, though, as that's looked at for a called strike 3 by Iracy. And with Martin on third and nobody out, Dolphins have now 1 out in the inning. And Anthony Cetera coming to the plate.
So Cetera getting another start today at third base. Love to deliver a hit right here for the Dolphins to put them on the scoreboard.
And Cetera looks at ball 1. Cetera was held hitless in 4 at-bats in the early game. Struck out twice. With the infield back, the Dolphins just need him to put the ball in play here. That's fouled straight back.
Went right off the pole.
Better off the pole than off the window. Because if it hits a window, odds are it's probably ours. Count 1-1 on Cetera. And he offered it a bad one there. May have gotten a piece.
I think he did get a piece of that one.
Off balance. Count 1-2 on the CSI third baseman. Dolphins looking for a ball in play to bring Martin home and cut the deficit in half. Comes the 1-2. And that'll do it. That's chopped to the right side. Flip to first in time as Broderick gets over to cover. And the Dolphins are on the board with an RBI ground out by Anthony Cetera.
I don't know if you saw Thomas Mario at the end of that, Joe. Made sure to step on home plate after the instance we saw in game number 1. Better be safe than sorry if you're CSI or any of these teams. But the Dolphins get their first run of the game and now trail it 2-1.
And that will bring up Joe Solito. Solito getting his first action today. Got some action in yesterday's doubleheader as well. I believe got a start in the first game yesterday.
Certainly have been a lot of games, so it's tough to tell.
When you have so many games in such a short window, it's hard to recall exactly which game was which. And unfortunately...
That's why a couple times you said softball complex.
Yes, I did. At least a couple. But we don't have a producer here in the box. Not quite in the budget, as that sliced foul, but the producer is the one who feeds you all of those stats. Gives you all that info. One day, maybe one day. We're just here having a good time.
Of course.
1-2, the count on Solito. Broderick already with 4 strikeouts in the game. And he misses high there. Comes the 2-2. And that breaking ball is in for a called strike 3. So Broderick sets down, Solito looking. And the side is retired, but not before the Dolphins get on the board for the first time. A Thomas Martin double gets it started, and an RBI ground out by Anthony Cetera cuts the 2-run deficit in half. Our score, Chestnut Hill 2, Staten Island 1.
Hobra, a taco joint, Staten Island, where we're proud to have shared our family-first spirit with people from throughout New York City and the world. With indoor dining available both at the bar and on the floor. Or step outside for additional seating and an outdoor bar. Serving beer that's crisp, ice cold, and worthy of a day at the beach. Cocktails that explode with flavor. And great food made with the freshest and healthiest ingredients available. Events feature food and drink specials. Live music. And the best of Staten Island nightlife. Your CSI Student ID saves you 10% on your dine-in order at Hobra. Visit us at 412 Forest Avenue, Staten Island.
Now batting, the second baseman, number 32, Phoenix Bowman.
Phoenix Bowman will lead off the road third inning from the CSI Baseball Complex. Griffins lead the Dolphins 2-1 after CSI got on the board with an RBI ground out by Anthony Cetera in the last half inning. Dennis Kelly returns to the mound looking to keep this deficit right where it is. But once again, he falls behind 2-0, this time against Bowman. And it's now 3-0.
He's making quick work as well, Joe, as soon as he gets the ball right back from his catcher, A.J. Vigliotti, going right into his stance.
That's not close. Bowman hustled over to first, perhaps thinking about an extra base, but no chance for that. And Nick, the story in this game has been quite simple. It's been the command issues for the Dolphins. They have not allowed a hit in this game, and they are trailing by a run.
John Crane certainly would love to change that right here. So his 2 hits in game 1. Love to get the Griffins' first hit right here, and maybe into the gap could bring home that runner from first.
They'll check on the runner over at first, and we saw at times during each of the last 2 seasons the Dolphins struggle with some command issues on the mound. I think that really reached as the runner was going on this pitch, and that's a good throw by Vigliotti, not in time. The throw was on line with the bag and was received on the backhand by Rodriguez, who attempted a sweeping tag, but it wasn't there in time. Bowman steals the base, and now the Griffins have a runner in scoring position.
So now a single here for Crane could bring home that runner from second and Bowman and give his team back a 2-run lead.
But as I was saying, Nick, it really reached its peak in terms of command issues for the Dolphins early, not last season, but 2 seasons ago. Early in the first half of that season particularly, Dolphins pitching staff, time and time again, had trouble finding the strike zone. They seemed to correct that late 2 seasons ago, and that carried into last season. We didn't see much of this last year.
Yeah, we've seen good improvement overall from the Dolphins. Misses high for a ball. And I think it's not even on just that one side of the thing. I think overall you've seen improvement from this team as a collective unit, but they still are trying to mesh it all together to make sure that they can win these games.
There's a swing and a miss. And Crane will go down on strikes for a big first out.
They needed that strikeout right there. Huge punch out from Kelly to record the first out of the inning.
Nobody out and a runner in scoring position. Your objective there as a hitter is to make sure you move that runner up and give your team a chance to score with an out. Now, without a base hit, Griffins won't be able to do that, though. Kelly nearly sent one to the backstop there, and that could change things very quickly.
Almost sent one off of Peluso's helmet. Yeah, now 1-0.
Kelly will step off here. Want to know the count. And Peluso takes up and in. Two and 0 the count on the Griffins catcher. Kelly comes set and delivers, and that misses badly, well off the plate for ball 3.
Good stop by Vigliotti making the catch there, preventing that wild pitch.
Count now 3-0. And Peluso was taking all the way there. Didn't even take the bat off his shoulder.
Well instructed by his coaches to not swing on that one, up 3-0.
And that pitch was not close, this time well inside. And Peluso draws the walk. That's the third issued by Kelly.
Now batting for right field number 44, Ali Sabatino.
Sabatino without an official at bat. Now, we're in the midst of the second turn through the lineup for the Griffins. This is the 8th batter in the order. How many official plate appearances do you think they have? So 13 hitters. My math is way off. This is hitter 17. 17 hitters have come to the plate. How many official at-bats do you think they have?
So let's think. Kelly has 3 walks. And then try and think how many in the first inning happened.
Remember, sacrifice fly earlier as well.
2. I want to guess 10?
Half that. 5. 5 official at-bats.
I didn't want to give a low number like that because I didn't want to feel stupid by giving a number like that. So, okay.
5 official at-bats 17 batters into the game.
My initial answer was going to be 8, but I thought that was too low.
You thought wrongly.
Still wasn't low enough.
Not low enough. I just looked at it on the live stats, which I always have in front of me while calling the games, and I couldn't believe it. Though, without a hit, you can certainly see how that would be the case. You need to get those runs in somehow. That's hit well to left, but Sabatino just got under it. And there are now 2 away in the inning.
Loud sound right off the bat from Sabatino right there. Burkhead was able to track that one down in left field to record the second out.
And Dan Ciotti will be the batter here. This will complete the second pass through the lineup for Chestnut Hill. Ciotti, the 9th place hitter. R.J. Huth on deck. That's it for a called strike.
Kelly can work out the jam here, Joe. Keep the game 2-1. Give the Dolphins some nice momentum boost going into the bottom of the third.
He comes set and delivers. Both runners going. Throw goes to second on a hop. And that was dangerous.
Solito, good job right there to recognize the bounce. Because if that does not get caught, that runner from third is going to score.
If that does not get caught, obviously the run would score. If that hits the runner could score. All different things could have happened there, and none of them would have ended well for the Dolphins. But now there are 2 in scoring position, 2 outs, and that's fouled away.
That didn't sound good.
That time it was the bleachers.
Okay. I wasn't looking, so thankfully.
I was about to say, you thought that reached the parking lot?
No, I didn't think, but it just made a loud sound. It never sounds good.
We have a great view from here. 1-2 the count. And that misses low.
Got 2s all around here. 2-2 with 2 away.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 2 on in a 2-1 game. Pitch. Swung on and missed in the dirt. Vigliotti has to track it down and hurry. And Martin makes the save as that was a low throw into the runner. But Dennis Kelly escapes trouble in the third. His team is fired up. Dolphins will try and get even when they come to bat in the home half of the third inning.
You know I'm right. The podcast that uncovers the origin stories of some of the biggest names in sports, media, and entertainment. Nick Durst here along with Joe Calabrese.
Here we are, 200 episodes later, about 150 episodes with guests, our friends, soon to be your friends.
Well, it's pretty clear, Joe, that it's all about You Know I'm Right, the podcast. That's my You Know I'm Right moment. Wanted to do a podcast, and everyone was like, what are you, crazy? Who's going to listen? You're not going to get guests. Well, guess what? I'm the best when it comes to getting guests. You could vouch for that.
I am so happy that you asked me to do this. I couldn't have been more thrilled. And follow us on socials, check us out. I promise you, if you want to work in media, whether you work in media now, whether you want to quit your job and work in media, come to us, and I promise you, we will get you on the right foot.
That's what it's all about, uncovering the origin stories of some of the biggest names in sports, media, and entertainment. Keep it locked on You Know I'm Right.
Home third inning from the CSI Baseball Complex. The Dolphins will send 9, 1, and 2 to the plate. Rodriguez, Kehoe, and Burkhead. As Nico Rodriguez will get his first at-bat of the game here. Dylan Broderick back to the mound for Chestnut Hill. Dolphins went to the bullpen early in this one as Broderick lost his footing there.
He thought he also had a strike on that one.
Really tough to get a call when you go down like that. Comes the 1-0. That skips in for ball 2. Rodriguez in game 1 was 1 for 2 with an RBI. Has a 2-0 count here. Looking to get on as the tying run. And he takes a strike. Broderick comes set. 2-1 on its way. That's it out to center. Plenty of time to get underneath it for Huth, and he makes the catch for the first out.
Now back to the top of the order for CSI here with Michael Keogh.
Kehoe walked his first time up, got to third base with nobody out, and was stranded there. First pitch on its way as Kehoe shows bunt and takes high for ball 1.
Second straight batter, the Dolphins in the first pitch showing bunt attempt. Keogh up in the count 1-0.
Comes the 1-0 pitch. That's in for a called strike. Comes the 1-1. That misses outside. Kehoe ahead in the count, 2-1. He fouls one away. Head in a swivel here in the bleachers as well.
Gotta watch out where you're sitting.
I'm not sure it's very easy to get caught by surprise here. For a ball to get in the seating area, it has to be hit pretty high and be up there for a while. And the 2-2 is in for a called strike 3. Kehoe can't believe it. Dolphins dugout didn't like it either. Dolphins dugout getting a bit more vocal now. You could hear Mike Morrow saying that was low.
Dolphins have been frustrated these 2 games, Joe. Obviously different umpires behind the plate, but they have not liked the strike zone for either game.
There's a swing and a miss by Brian Burkhead for strike 1. As for Broderick, he's benefiting from that strike zone. He now has 6 punch-outs. That's hit in the air out to left. Could be trouble as the infielders move back on it, but they give way to the left fielder, Ciotti, as the side is retired. Dolphins go down 1-2-3 in the third. Our score remains 2-1, Chestnut Hill. You would think in a game where...
My path to a college degree would have been completely different had I not run Division II cross country for the University of Mount Olive. Having an athletic and academic scholarship was key for my success. Our coaches were really helpful with balancing out my academics and athletics. I decided to attend graduate school because I wanted to become an athletic director. Receiving the postgraduate scholarship through the NCAA provided me with the flexibility to choose the school that I wanted. So now I know that I can accomplish any goal that I set for myself.
Now pitching for the Dolphins, number 34, Alex Martinez.
And we're back from the CSI Baseball Complex. Now, I want to finish my thought from going into break. I was about to say to Nick off headset that you would think in a game where the strike zone is one the Dolphins were unhappy with, being a bit too wide there, that they would benefit on the mound from that. The tighter strike zone, you would think, or I should say the tighter strike zone for their pitchers, not translating over on the other side, as Kehoe thought that pitch was a bit low. Either way, the Dolphins still trail by just a run. They are very much in this game. And Alex Martinez will come in out of the CSI bullpen.
Martinez looking to keep this a one-run game. But as we know, Joe, we've had some interesting umpire play here in the years that I've been here calling games with you. And Dolphins were obviously vocal in game number 1 about some of the strike zone calls. They have certainly been vocal here at game number 2.
Point being, from ahead of the break, the Dolphins pitchers should benefit if the strike zone expands a bit. It's not often that we catch ourselves heading to commercial break with microphones unmuted. Every once in a while, you'll get a gem. Nick, you made the save there.
I got you. Us commentators have to stick out for each other.
So Martinez out of the Dolphins bullpen. We'll get you his numbers in just a moment.
It's funny because we had that one year where we had the broken laptop and we couldn't mute our mics. We had to go into commercial break with no muting. Our audio was on the entire time.
Yeah, I don't like that.
No.
I don't like that at all.
Nope.
No thanks. As that pitch is in for a called strike. So Alex Martinez comes in having appeared in 6 games, including one of yesterday's games. He's pitched 7 1/3 innings, allowed 9 hits, 6 runs, all of those earned. He's walked 4 and struck out 5. Opposing batters hitting at .310 against him, as that will drop into shallow right center for a base hit off the bat of R.J. Huth. He's now 1 for 1 in the game.
That is the first hit of the game. As well for the Griffins. They had gone.
That's a good point. That is their first hit of the game.
They had gone headless through the first 3. So first hit right there. And I was wondering how long it would take because we had some of those Little League games over the summer, Joe. And you were in the instance of where you commentator jinxed three potential no-hitters during that week. It was I could not believe how you did it that many times.
Well, in Little League, they play 6 innings.
Right.
Which is why over at softball now, I'm getting mildly confused early in the season. Thankfully, that's done. But my rule has always been the same. 2/3 of the way through and 5 innings into a 7-inning game, you are allowed to acknowledge the no-hitter. So through 5 in a 7-inning game and through 6 in a 9-inning game. That is the rule. I'm sticking to it. So if you don't want me to jinx a no-hitter, you can mute your televisions at that point.
I remember joining a live chat because one of the games I couldn't attend.
Runners going. Vigliotti throws from his knees, and the throw is not in time.
I remember making the comment on the YouTube live chat, and I said, "Oh no, Joe, not again." And the viewers, 2 seconds later, saw the first hit of the game happen.
Well, I'm nothing if not consistent. I hardly miss any games, barring some unusual circumstances like those we had earlier in the week. Hopefully that's not an issue the rest of the way, as that misses outside.
Now bringing that back, now bringing up that memory gives me a bad memory of that entire day itself.
Which one?
The one with me in the YouTube live chat.
What else happened that day? Your flat tire?
Yep.
Those will get you, as that's lined into center for a base hit. Huth being waved home. He will score. And stopping at first with an RBI single is Aiden Myers. And the Griffins have extended their lead back to 2. It's now 3-1.
It looked like originally off the bat that was going to be going into the outfield quicker towards Kehoe, but it kind of slowed up as Kehoe was trying to pick up the ball, so no chance for him to make the throw to home plate. An easy RBI for Myers to extend his team's lead now to 2.
Second hit of the game for the Griffins. That will bring up Michael Pasco. Pasco 0 for 1. He takes outside. In terms of relief pitchers, Alex Martinez by far has gotten the most work. By about 2 innings. And early in the season, that's fairly significant. In terms of appearances, he has just 1 more Then Antonio Gautreau coming in. Comes to 2-0. That misses high. Early in the season, CSI bullpen was really good. And I think they've been hampered a bit by the fact that they've now played 3 doubleheaders in 4 days. That certainly has an impact.
And you have to indulge in me, Joe. What is the next time the Dolphins will play after today?
They play against Mercy on Friday before the doubleheader here on Saturday. Single game.
So they'll have a full couple of days
They'll be
off.
at Mercy on Friday as Vigliotti neglects to throw on ball 4. No reason to throw there.
I think, and I see it right now, Joe, the confusion. You see Alex Martinez. He thought that was strike 2, which is why Vigliotti held up the ball, because they thought that was strike to make the count full 3-2. But obviously with it being called ball 4, no attempt needed for Vigliotti to second base. The Dolphins continue to be frustrated by the strike zone.
That will bring up Justin Geiger. Goes back to what I said before. You would think if the strike zone is a bit tighter, as the Dolphins many times have felt it has been for their pitchers, that they benefit the plate. But they did not with Kehoe up there in the last half inning. And now, with 2 on and nobody out, Geiger has a chance to extend this lead further.
Look how far down the line Thomas Martin is.
Martin perhaps expecting a bunt, but the way Geiger has swung the bat today, not so sure. We'll see.
And the way he's approached this at bat so far, he's taken the first 2.
He's shown no signs he's going to bunt yet. And he bloops one in shallow center, and Kehoe can't get there on the dive. It's backed up and left. Each runner will move up a base, and the Griffins now have the bases loaded following a bloop single by Justin Geiger.
So this is now the territory of the game, Joe, where it could get out of hand for the Dolphins. Still nobody out. Bases are loaded. It's still a 2-run game, but one swing here could really open up for the Griffins.
Phoenix Bowman with a big opportunity here to break this game open. And the Griffins have had several opportunities throughout this game to extend their lead further, and that will do it, as that's grounded through the left side for a base hit. The drawn in infield allows that ball to get through. 2 runs come in to score, and it's a 2 RBI base hit for Phoenix Bowman. It's now 5-1 Griffins.
And still nobody out in the inning for the Dolphins. So you can see, Joe, we talked about the bullpen usage for this week. Alex Martinez obviously pitching yesterday and going at it once again here today. Still looking to record the first out of the inning, but now 5-1 for Chestnut Hill. And they've now accounted for 4 hits in this inning after not having a hit through the first 3.
First pitch on its way to John Crane, and that's taken outside for ball 1. Crane at the plate 0 for 2. The only Griffin who had 2 official plate appearances ahead of this inning. That didn't clear the room to our left by much. Count 1 ball and 1 strike. And the 1-1 misses for ball 2. That pitch misses outside. So now Martinez is 1 pitch away from loading the bases. Still nobody out in the inning. And once again, there is action in the Dolphins bullpen. Number 32, Matthew Polamini throwing. There's a swing and a miss. Count now full on Crane. And you get the sense that if Martinez doesn't get this out, this might be it for him.
One strike away from doing so.
Comes the payoff pitch. Both runners going, and that's fouled away. So we'll do it again on 3-2. Crane steps back into the box as Martinez looks toward the dugout. This game's still well within reach for the Dolphins, but they need Martinez to get them through this inning, and that will help as he gets the swing and miss for strike 3. And that brings some life back to the CSI dugout as there is now one away in the inning.
A huge first out recorded by Martinez right there on the strikeout. And if he can get a double play right here to get out of the inning and keep it a 4-run game, the Dolphins will certainly take that.
And the Dolphins have found themselves in that position quite a bit, where we've said if the Dolphins can keep it at, then insert deficit, as Vigliotti will throw to third. That gets away into left field, and a run will come in to score. It was a low throw to third. Both runners move up an extra base. In to score is Geiger. Up to third goes Bowman. It's now 6-1.
Another mistake for the Dolphins here today, unfortunately, in the defensive alignment, as that low throw from Vigliotti cost them a run and now gives the Griffins a runner at third base once again. A 6-1 lead for Chestnut Hill.
We've seen that twice today now, where a runner stealing third ended up heading home on a throw that skipped into left field. And at times, things have gotten sloppy for the Dolphins. And you hate to see that allow this game to spiral out of control. It's 6-1. The infield is in all around. I think that's certainly the right decision, as 4 runs are home in the inning. What an opportune time for Marquise Pickering to rejoin us.
Hey guys, so I'm going home, but the gallery is updated.
Okay.
Every game this week has been updated.
That's what you came on the air to tell us?
Yes.
You should go home now.
Goodbye.
Thank you, Marquise.
He's proud of his work.
I'm proud of his work, too. That being said, we know who's a true fanatic and who's not by who leaves early.
Yikes. Wow.
2-2 the count on Christian Peluso, and he takes down and away for ball 3. Of course, Marquise always does a great job, our athletic communications content creator. Does some work for professional athletes as well, including recently signed.
Don't bring it. Why would you? Why?
It's going to hurt, Nick, I know.
Why are you bringing that up?
It's gonna. You brought up the Phillies yesterday. That hurt.
I did?
You did.
When did I bring them up?
Oh, that was when you, Nick, and I were all on. There was 3 of us, so Nick probably brought up the Phillies, but you were here, so.
So I get caught because of Durst's crossfire?
You're culpable.
That's not fair at all.
You're culpable. Recently signed Eagle, Saquon Barkley.
That's not fair at all.
And that breaking ball is off the outside corner.
And you can still hear the Fanatics, Joe. They are still not happy. I have a feeling, Joe, I'm not even going to lie, we could be alive for an ejection this game, the way that this game is going for CSI.
The Dolphins dugout is going to receive a warning.
I think they even said write it up.
They sure did. We could tell who it was who said that, but we won't throw anyone under the bus. Either way, as I said before.
Well, you threw me under the bus.
Yeah, but you're up here in the booth. You know, you're not.
I didn't
down
say
there.
it, though. That wasn't me who said it.
You're not down here trying to win a baseball game. They don't need any headaches.
I can't believe I got that comment made after what Durst said. I didn't even bring up the Phillies once. I thought maybe I did bring it up because we've had a lot of games we've called this week, and maybe I forgot something that I said. But I most certainly did not say one word about the Phillies. So now I got to be reminded about that.
That's hit sharply on the ground to short, and that gets by Rodriguez. That will go down as a hit.
I think that would have been a tough play either way if Rodriguez fields it cleanly.
That's a hit.
Even if
boy, they gave an error. Change that. Dolphins will make a pitching change here, and we'll be back following this break. Score 7-1 Griffins.
pitching for the Dolphins, number 32, Matthew Alamini. Now batting, left fielder, number 47, Dan Ciotti.
And we're back from the CSI Baseball Complex, where the score is now 7-1 in favor of Chestnut Hill College. Dolphins bullpen laboring through this fourth inning. Still 2 on, and that pitch is in the dirt. Runner headed for third, low throw, and the runner is safe.
Still laboring through that comment you made, Joe.
Well, you'll have to get over the loss of Saquon Barkley to the Eagles at some point.
I've been over it.
Okay, good.
I've been over it. I
I'm
just
glad to
cannot
hear
believe I got called out for something I didn't do.
You didn't get called out, per se.
Well, it seemed like
I
it.
had to justify my actions, and I just grasped at something.
Yeah.
You
Fair
were
enough.
present. You were culpable.
You got the wrong Nick.
You should have cut Durst off and said, whoa, whoa, whoa. We don't talk about that here.
I don't remember how the conversation went on.
The conversation started with the Yankees, Garrett Cole and Aaron Judge.
Oh,
It then
okay.
moved over to
I'm
my
glad you
fandom,
remember.
my Phillies fandom.
Right, okay.
We were talking about how Mike Morrow was throwing BP to Aaron
Yes.
Judge in the Cologne commercial
Yes.
for Polo 67. We couldn't figure out why 67, and somehow that conversation moved on to the Phillies,
yeah.
and their disappointment in the playoffs.
Okay.
1-2 the count on Dan Ciotti. Now 2 in scoring position, and Ciotti strikes out. So Polamini comes out of the bullpen and picks up a big strikeout. Chance here to strand 2 in scoring position, but to do so, he'll have to get off, or will have to get through the leadoff hitter, R.J. Huth.
He has second and third with 2 away. First base is open for the Griffins right here. The Dolphins want to have any chance, Joe. They got to get this out here.
Getting tongue-tied. It's been such a long week. We're in the home stretch.
I didn't even hear what you got tongue tied up with. So
I got tongue-tied pretty badly there.
okay, I didn't hear it. So
Reading off the live stats and trying to speak, not always an easy thing to do. As that pitch catches the outside corner, and the count evens up at 1 ball and 1 strike. Tried to say that Polamini needs to get off the mound right here, and will have to get through the leadoff hitter, R.J. Huth. I kind of mishmashed it together, and it did not come out correctly.
okay, fair enough. I mean, you could have got away with it with me. I know the viewers at home maybe wouldn't have let you get away with that.
Every once in a while, as the color guy, you have the option to get into kind of, I don't want to say an aimless stare, but it's like a daze where you're looking out at the batter's eye, and all
I
of a
was
sudden,
paying attention to the at bat, and I wasn't paying
all of
attention
a
to what
sudden,
you
you
were saying.
slowly zone out.
Yeah, it is a gorgeous day, so it really is a good sight to see. You know, kind of zone out to what you're looking at.
We had some dark clouds rolling yesterday. Did not rain, though.
Thankfully,
We have not seen a drop of rain all season. As that pitch is in for a strike. And I can safely say that today with no rain in the forecast and no games now for another 4 days. So I cannot jinx it.
For once. For once.
Count full here. And Huth slices one foul. First base is open. The runner on third is Peluso. The runner on second is Sabatino. All 5 hits for the Griffins in this game, coming in this inning. 5 runs home. Comes another 3-2. That's it on the ground to second. Handled there. Throw to first by Solito in time. And the side is retired. But Chestnut Hill breaks this game open. They add 5 runs to their lead. It's now 7-1 Griffins, heading to the home fourth.
Being a champion takes more than skill, more than endless drills, more than using your head. Being a champion takes the heart to give it your all, the agility to thrive from any angle, and the relentless drive to be the best. Welcome to Division 2, where the pursuit is yours to create, and the question isn't, can you do it? It's will you?
Leading off for the Dolphins, the catcher, number 22, A.J. Vigliotti.
And we're back for the home fourth inning. A.J. Vigliotti will lead off for the Dolphins, now trailing by 6. And Vigliotti looks at ball 1. And Nick, they're still playing him to pull. The left side shifted way over.
I'm still surprised that that's the case.
Even the first baseman's off the line. They are playing him deep on the infield, however.
They're playing him a little bit closer to right center field where he hit the ball earlier.
If he hits one down the line, he might have a triple. And he's quickly ahead in the count, 3-0. Dylan Broderick has allowed a run on a hit, walked 1 and struck out 6. And he's now walked 2. Vigliotti on with the leadoff free pass. And Joe Solito will be the, or check that, Chris Polomini will be the batter. That's 14, not 13. Getting ahead of myself, Nick.
It's okay. It's okay.
Having a rough day out here.
It's been a long week. You said it yourself.
It's all those steps I got in yesterday. Too much.
Yeah, you did do a lot of walking towards right field.
I must have made at least 4 trips to the outfield, and maybe 5.
And the sad part is you probably did all of that for maybe nothing if it was just the transmitter in here that had to do that was the whole problem.
Well, we had battery issues yesterday,
okay.
So. Yeah, I didn't bring my phone with me, Steph. My steps won't be in there. They might be in here, though. Did have the Apple Watch on as Polomini takes low and the count evens at 1-1.
So you also got a Band-Aid on your finger after what happened yesterday with your bottle.
You had to bring that up on the air, huh?
You had to bring up the Saquon on the air, didn't you?
So I have glass water bottles with plastic twist tops and the ridge on the top is attached to a ring beneath it, which keeps the top anchored to a sealed water bottle. Well, that split as I opened the bottle, and the ridge sliced my finger open. Pretty good.
I thankfully had my Knicks playoff towel with me.
That's right. Covered in dirt from softball.
Yeah, make sure you don't get any dirt in that wound.
As Polamini swings and misses for strike 3. And Thomas Martin will be the batter.
We saw Martin last time, Joe. Has the only hit of the game for the Dolphins right now. A deep, towering shot into left field. It took a one bounce off the wall.
Well, Martin entered the day hitting just .225. 9 hits, 40 at-bats. He looks at a strike. Martin was 0 for 2 with a pair of walks in the first game. Had a nice day yesterday, reaching that career milestone, hit number 100. And the 0-1 is fouled away. Martin quickly in a 2-strike hole here after Vigliotti opened the half inning with a 4-pitch walk. And the 0-2 misses low. Look toward the runner at first. Comes the 1-2. And Martin chops one foul. Count remains 1 ball and 2 strikes. Here comes another 1-2 pitch. Martin takes high. They're holding Vigliotti on over at first. Big hole on the right side. Infield once again playing Martin to pull. And they will check on Vigliotti at first base.
Very interesting to see that.
Count 2-2. And Martin hits one well out to left field, and that will be over the left fielder's head. It rolls to the base of the fence. Chasing it down is Ciotti, and Vigliotti will be held at third. It's a 1-out double for Thomas Martin, his second of the game. He has both Dolphin hits, and CSI now has 2 in scoring position.
Well, number 33, not the third hit, but he has both hits for the Dolphins. He's on second base once again with a 1-out double, giving the Dolphins second and third.
The Dolphins certainly hope he does not get the third hit as well.
I hope, for their sake, hopefully that is the case. Maybe Anthony Racing can deliver that third hit and bring home both runners.
Goes without saying, Nick, Dolphins need to get both of these runs in here. They need to find a way. As the pitch to Iracey is a breaking ball in for a strike.
Get a second look at the previous double from Thomas Martin. Another one bounce off the fence, giving him, the Dolphins, the second hit of the game.
That pitch missed high. Count even at 1-1 on Iracey.
So Iracey pinch hitting game number 1. He delivered in his only plate appearance of that game.
Who didn't deliver during that string of pinch hitters? As Iracey fouls that one back. It's a big spot for Iracey. In the games we've covered, I think this without question is his biggest at bat. This game far from over, but the Dolphins need to begin working their way back here in the 4th. Count 1-2 on Iracey. He gets under one. That's in foul territory down the left field line and out of play. Did that hit the top of the fence?
It might have.
It either bounced on the concrete or hit the top of the fence. Count remains 1-2 on the CSI designated hitter. Martin the runner at second, Vigliotti at third. Infield will concede a run on a ground ball. And Iracy strikes out swinging. Big breaking ball from Broderick. He now has 8 punch-outs in the game, and there are 2 away.
So it'll be up to Anthony Cetera with 2 outs away. Second and third, trying to give the Dolphins some life here, Joe. Obviously, a single would make it a 4-run deficit if you can get on, but they certainly need this hit more than ever.
You get the sense that if the Dolphins don't come through with a hit in this spot, it could be the final deflating blow in this game. And Cetera comes up to the plate in this big spot with a chance to bring home 2. He gets ahead 1-0. Anthony's 0 for 1 in this game. Broderick delivers. That's in for a called strike. Broderick comes set. Here's the 1-1 pitch. That's chopped on the ground to short, handled there. Throw across the diamond in time, and Cetera is retired to end the inning. Dolphins get 2 in scoring position with just 1 out. They fail to score, and it remains 7-1 Griffins heading to the 5th.
Being a champion takes more than talent, more than the perfect pass, more than using your head. Being a champion takes the spirit to always push harder, the ability to overcome any hurdle, and the fire to be the best. Welcome to Division 2, where the pursuit is yours to create. And the question isn't, can you do it? It's, will you?
Now batting, shortstop, number 5, Aiden Myers.
Fifth inning from the CSI Baseball Complex about to get underway. Dolphins trail 7-1. Matt Polomini back to the mound for CSI. First batter that he will face here in the 5th is Aiden Myers. Myers 1 for 1 has drawn a walk and driven in a couple of runs. He's behind here 0-2. And Nick, the Dolphins were presented with another opportunity in that last half inning. 2 on, both in scoring position, just 1 out, and they failed to score. And I think if there's one takeaway from this week, offensively anyway, it's that the Dolphins, obviously, and I think this goes without saying, but were at their best when they came through in those spots, and we saw that in Game 2 yesterday against the Chargers. The Dolphins came through every opportunity that they were given to do so. They have not done that here today, did not do it on Wednesday.
It's all about realistically hitting with runners in scoring position when you get into these games. And so far, unfortunately for the Dolphins, they have not done that in this game. And we look back at Game 1 as well, and the Dolphins left 9 runners stranded in scoring position in that one as well. So CSI has to figure out how to bring those runners home to avoid these situations like this, trailing by 6 here in the 5th inning.
Now, on a positive note, and for what it's worth, the Dolphins have put themselves in plenty of those positions with men on base. It's not as if the Dolphins aren't getting base runners. It's not as if they don't have any chances. They've had plenty of chances, as many as the Lightning had, as many as the Griffins have had here today. The Lightning, of course, their opponent on Wednesday, but they just haven't made the most of those chances, as that's going to be a tough luck infield hit. And Michael Pasco's now 1 for 2. He's on with an infield single.
Good thing Stera did not throw that one. Has no chance to make the throw at first to get him in time.
Now, we've seen at times ill-advised throws hurt the Dolphins today. And I think Sotero wisely held on to that ball. They did not have a play at first. I don't think there's any base runner they would have had a play on in that situation. That will bring up Justin Geiger. Runner going. And Vigliotti will not throw. Well, that's certainly something that will need to be addressed for the Dolphins, is how to manage the running game. And we saw last year, in particular, John Esposito, as that's off the glove of Polamini, and a great play there by Solito to throw to first in time to get the runner. I did not think the Dolphins were going to have a play there.
Solito had to rearrange himself after the ball went off of Polamini's glove, and he made a good scoop right there off of the tip and threw it to first base in time to record that second out.
Plays like that add up over the course of a season, and if you can make a few of those, you never know how many games that will save you. And sometimes those may not show up in the box score. 2 away in the inning. Phoenix Bowman at the plate, and he skies one out to right center. Making the call in right field is Polamini, and he makes the catch to retire the side. So the Dolphins do strand the runner in scoring position and keep the deficit right where it is. Chestnut Hill leads Staten Island 7-1, heading to the bottom of the 5th.
Champions know how to seize opportunities. When they see moments of greatness unfold right before their eyes, they push as hard as they possibly can, and then they push harder. Because the heart of a champion never settles, never quits, and never stops giving its all. We are champions. We are Division II. We go big, we give it everything we've got, and we win. On the field, on our campuses, in our communities, for our causes, in our careers. We rise to become champions in everything we do. We are Division II, and there are no limits here. We make our time count. We set our own path. We become champions on our terms. It's time to up your game, because we're here to play and learn. But most importantly, we're here to discover ourselves, our vision, our heart, our drive, to achieve every goal we aim for, because we want to be champions at the highest level, life. At Division II, the opportunities are here. Are you ready?
Leading off for the Dolphins, the second baseman, number 13, Joe Solito.
And we're back for the bottom half of the 5th inning. This time it is Joe Salito at the plate leading off for the Dolphins. Got my 13 and 14 crossed up earlier in the game. Everyone had a good laugh about it, as that's in for a called strike.
Sounds like you're having a good laugh about it, too.
All you can do is laugh sometimes. Don't sound so enthusiastic, Nick. We still have another 2.5 innings to go. That's popped up, foul territory in front of the Dolphins' dugout.
Into the dugout.
And in.
Thankfully, no one made the catch. I'm sure Lewis would have had a flashback there, too.
I thought you were about to say, thankfully, Lewis isn't here. Lewis is watching.
I'm sure he is.
He's watching. He wanted to hear what I had to say as we headed to commercial earlier. That's why I shared it when we came back from break.
I was trying to think of what instance you were talking about, but there
With
that
the
makes sense.
unmuted microphone?
Yes.
You can have access to our thoughts during the commercials if you come talk to us and sign an NDA.
NDA is very important.
We have attorneys in the family, so we can draft up one for you quickly. Here comes the 1-2, and that's hit the other way. Shallow right field, falling fast, and caught over the shoulder by Pasco.
What can Pasco do for this team, Joe? He can hit and makes a great catch over the shoulder, as you mentioned. Also losing the hat in the process to record the first out of this inning.
Well, Tyler is still bringing the enthusiasm on PA. We love it.
Listen, we've seen a 7-1 comeback, unfortunately, go the way of the Dolphins' opponents before. You never know. There's still time.
Nick reopening. Fresh wound. Though they did get the 300th win, so I think it's safe now.
Yeah.
Had they not gotten it yet, that might have been too soon. That being said, what this team has to look forward to is conference play next week. And I think with conference play beginning in CSI's next game, this certainly wouldn't be the way that they want to head into that game with a loss and a doubleheader sweep. And a not-so-great week. If they were to lose this game, they would fall to 1-5 in this 6-game and 4-day stretch. But regardless, the games that really matter, the most important games on the schedule, are the ones that they begin playing next week against conference opponents.
And those are the most important games of the season, as we both know. And that could really get a season back going up for your team. Obviously, getting out of non-conference play, if you don't have a realistically a strong start to the season, you could certainly make up for it when conference play starts up for you. So the Dolphins will have a little bit of time in between then.
That's grounded to short. Throw to first in time to get Michael Kehoe. And it's a quick 1-2-3 inning for Dylan Broderick. He's been really strong in this game, as he is now allowed just one run through the first 5 innings. Chestnut Hill College still leads Staten Island 7-1.
The Kettle Black on Staten Island, a top 5 wing joint in America by Food and Wine magazine. Serving daily lunch and dinner at the bar or on the floor. Perfect for family and group parties with top shelf drink and delicious food. From great times with good friends. Live sports and watch parties. To Staten Island's hottest nightlife. The Kettle Black features live music and DJs weekly. The Kettle Black features daily and nightly food and drink specials. The best Staten Island has to offer is at the Kettle Black. We'll see you there at the Kettle Black, located on 415 Forest Avenue, Staten Island.
Now pitching for the Dolphins, number 18, Antonio Gautreau. hitting for the Griffins, number 36, Alexander Basha.
Fosh.
And we're back from the CSI Baseball Complex, where the inning will open with a pinch hitter. Alexander Fasha comes in, left-handed batter. He will face Antonio Gautreaux. Gautreaux comes out of the CSI bullpen, has not allowed a run this year across 5 appearances. In 5 2/3, he's allowed 5 hits and 2 runs, both unearned. He has walked 3 and struck out 7. Opposing batters hitting .227 against him. Signal from the outfield a bit low on our camera. Nothing we could do about it right now. So we'll stay with the shot from behind home plate. We are on the correct channel. I just double-checked. You actually can see the signal strength on the front of our receiver over there, and it is indeed low. Perhaps we'll need the second large antenna out of my car. We do have one.
Camera right field has had a long day today.
It's hanging in there.
It is hanging in there.
If it starts to operate correctly again, we'll use it again. The camera battery's still going, though. That's impressive. It's the transmitter battery that dies. It's not the camera battery that normally dies. We did not swap the camera battery in between games. I think that battery gets about 7 hours. So it should be good to go through about 6 o'clock, maybe 6:30. It's impressive, though. That battery's still going. Like to see it. As that pitch misses low in the dirt for ball 3. And the count is now full on Fasha. Payoff pitch on its way. And that misses for ball 4.
So leadoff walk to start the inning for the Griffins here. They try to extend their lead.
Dolphins now have 12 walks in the game. They've allowed 6 hits, walked 12, and hit a batter.
5 of those 6 hits came in that 5-run 4th inning.
Another point has the runners going. Vigliotti throws. It's in on a hop. Not in time. Now, another point that I'd like to make, and I don't think this applies as much today as we've seen pretty much the regular complement of Dolphins relievers. But once you get into conference play, oftentimes you will have just the 4 games in a week. So effectively you're playing 4 games in 3 days. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 1-2-1. That changed last season. Now, to get more conference games in, that comes at the price of taxing the pitching staff for each team in the conference a bit more. And you have to be a bit more selective when it comes to your relief pitching. You figure at most in 3 days you're going to throw a reliever twice. Not often you'll ever see a reliever go 3 days in a row, but managing your pitching becomes a really big part of conference play. And I think now playing 6 games over the last 3 days, if you're the Dolphins, we've seen them have to navigate that a bit. At the very least, that should help them moving forward into conference play.
I think also it's the wear and tear on the body for not only the relievers that have to come into these games, but for the players itself. I mean, obviously playing this many games in this many days certainly has to do a lot with their stamina of coming in. Not to say that the Dolphins haven't shown enough effort in today's games. They've done a great job overall this entire week. It has to be a lot going on for them, having to play all these games. And then obviously you're trying to monitor your bullpen and make sure that you have a good amount of relievers pitching for these games just in case.
2-2 on the way. That misses for ball 3. Another full count as Gautreaux comes set. And Peluso grounds one to third. Cetera has to go to first with it, and there's one away.
A hard hit ball to third base and took a nice one bounce. Once again, another good defensive stop by Anthony Cetera here today.
That will bring up Bobby Sabatino. Sabatino is 1 for 2 at the plate in this game. Dolphins are waiting for instruction from the dugout defensively, and they will keep the infield back. That's sliced foul. So if a run does come in here, it would be the first run allowed by Gautreau this season. You know, he's looking for a strikeout here to keep that scoreless streak intact. He's ahead 0-1. That's fouled straight back. Count no balls and 2 strikes on the Griffins right fielder. Gautreau looking to keep Fasha stationed at third. Here comes the 2-strike pitch. And he got him. And that was not played on a bounce behind the plate by Vigliotti. It's officially a strikeout swinging, no put out necessary. And that will bring up Dan Ciotti.
So up to Ciotti to bring home that runner from third with 2 away. As Dolphins try to keep this 6-run deficit.
Gautreau's first pitch is swung on and missed. We know Gautreau, a pitcher who's capable of striking batters out. Coming in, he'd struck out 7 in 5 2/3. Comes the 0-1. That's hit in the air. Foul territory. And Martin is there to make the catch. So Gautreau strands the runner at third, and he escapes without allowing a run in the 6th. Dolphins come to bat after this break, trailing 7-1.
Thank you, softball, for making me such a stronger person. I think the life lessons that we go through being student athletes is just incredible. I mean, we have to learn to balance so many different things on a daily basis, and softball in particular is such a sport of failure that it's taught me to just never give up.
Now batting for your Dolphins, the left fielder, number 23, Brian Burkhead.
Brian Burkhead will lead off the bottom half of the 6th inning for the Dolphins. Burkhead in this game 0 for 2 at the plate. As we play on here in the 6th inning, Thomas Martin still the only Dolphin with a hit. He's 2 for 2. He's due up 4th in the inning. And Burkhead looks at a strike. Count even at 1.
You get the sense, Joe, that this is now or never for the Dolphins if they want to get back into this game.
To be honest with you, Nick, I thought it was now or never when they had 2nd and 3rd and 1 out. But Dolphins with a chance to prove me wrong.
We did see in the last game they were able to get 4 in that 7th inning. So you never know.
You certainly never know, and you can certainly never count this team out.
Correction, they got 3 in that last inning. But either way.
Point taken.
Yeah.
I think Dolphins' failure to score with 2 on may have been the last deflating blow, as I mentioned earlier. And as a team, how resilient you are is dictated by how many of those you can take and keep fighting. And we know this team has no quit in them, but they've taken a lot of hits today. A lot of those blows self-inflicted, hits in a figurative sense, not literal, as Burkhead will draw a walk, and the Dolphins have the leadoff man on in 6th.
This brings up Vigliotti here with a runner on. You know, Burkhead has good wheels at first. If he's able, Vigliotti, I should say, is able to get something into the gap. But Dolphins really need a rally here, so hopefully that Vigliotti could do something.
Vigliotti 0 for 1. Reached on a walk earlier. Has also struck out. And he fouls one back. There were 2 big moments in this game, or 2 big chances the Dolphins had. One of them was the one I just referenced, where they had 2nd and 3rd with 1 out and didn't score. The second came all the way back in the beginning of this game. They had a runner on 3rd with nobody out to open the game and did not score. Those 2 opportunities there alone could have potentially yielded as many as 3 runs. And all of a sudden, that deficit shrinks from 6 down to 3, and things look a lot more manageable right now. On the other side of that coin, the Griffins loaded the bases twice, and the Dolphins escaped both times, allowing just 1 run.
Vigliotti now quickly finding himself here, Joe, down 0-2.
And he hits one in the air to right. Down the line, could be a long run. And that lands foul. Sabatino out in right field had to go a long way to have any chance. As I said before, if Vigliotti puts one down the line and right, it might be a triple.
He's certainly been on his, he's been running a lot today, Joe. He's been making a couple plays in the outfield for his team and try to get that one down in the Griffin bullpen.
The count remains 0-2 on Vigliotti. That misses high. Count 1 ball and 2 strikes on the Dolphins catcher. Burkhead, the runner at first, reached on a walk. Broderick looks his way. Comes the 1-2. That misses outside. Broderick's been really good in this game, has now struck out 9. He's walked 3. Has allowed just the 2 doubles to Martin. 1 run. But his pitch count is getting up there. He's worked his way into the 90s as he misses low for ball 3. Count 3-2 now. And they'll check on the runner at first. The throw gets away, and Burkhead will take second base.
It's now runner in score position for A.J. Vigliotti here of an RBI chance. Try to trim this deficit.
First base opens up with a full count on Vigliotti. But Broderick, with the 6-run lead, can afford to attack him here. Of course, hate to lose him to a walk. Walk as good as a hit. Just about if you're the Dolphins here. And that's hit sharply on the ground to short, backhanded there. Strong throw to first just in time. And Vigliotti is retired for the first out.
Nice play right there for the Griffins. So I think that was Sean Levan, the new shortstop, that made the play there. So good job from him.
And Chris Polomini will be the batter. Polomini in game 1 left 5 on base at the plate. Has a chance here to chase home a run with a hit. Polomini with a very rare offer in game 1, uncharacteristic of him early in his Dolphins tenure. as he fouls the first pitch back. Broderick comes set. Here's the 0-1. That's outside. If Polamini can get on, that would give Thomas Martin a chance with at least one on base, assuming Burkhead doesn't score. If Burkhead were to move up to third or stay put, Martin would come to the plate with 2 on. Comes the 1-1. That's popped up in foul territory behind the plate and out of play. I don't think I've ever seen a group of spectators at a baseball game so fear-struck by a bouncing ball.
Well, I mean, they do take a weird bounce off the bleachers. That's obvious.
Well, I didn't see how weird bounced.
Well, I'm saying in general, I think most of the foul balls that are hit off the bleachers do take a weird bounce. But we say it a lot. You have to be very careful when you're in the territory of a foul ball that's hit.
Count evens up at 2-2 on Polamini here. There is action in the Griffins bullpen. We saw in game 1, Marlon Rose was throwing. I believe he's throwing again. That is indeed him, as Polamini fouls back another one. Count 2-2 on the CSI right fielder. Broderick looking for his 10th strikeout. Dolphins looking to hopefully inch a bit closer in this game, as that's at a mile high out to left. And that ball is caught by Ciotti for the second out.
So the Dolphins still with 2 hits in this game, Joe, both coming for the man that's up to the plate now, Thomas Martin. It'll be up to him to extend the inning and try to get CSI their second run.
That will bring up Thomas Martin as time was called. And could this be a pitching change upcoming here with Martin's success against Broderick?
Either that, or maybe do you have a conference to maybe say to him, don't give him anything good to swing at? Dolphins do have a pinch hitter on deck, so I wonder if that maybe is the conference they're having. And we'll have to see. No pitching change as of now.
Well, they wouldn't walk Martin intentionally. That's obvious. And I doubt you're going to pitch around him up 6 runs. So perhaps the dugout with a bit of a scouting report, letting Broderick know which pitches to avoid, what didn't work in those first 2 at-bats. We'll see. As I mentioned before, Rose warming up in the bullpen. He's been throwing for a few minutes at least, and threw in game 1 as well, as Martin takes a strike. You mentioned the pinch hitter on deck for the Dolphins. That's Owen Weber. There is now some stirring in the Dolphins bullpen as well. Comes the 0-1. That's fouled back. Martin in a 2-strike hole here. Burkhead still over at second. 2 gone in the home 6th. Griffin's dugout trying to will Broderick through this inning. And he misses high. You get the sense, Nick, that this is Broderick's last batter.
Seems to be that case, so you feel good for him if he can get the man that's gotten the only 2 hits for the Dolphins in this game, and Thomas Martin out right here.
Griffin's dugout very much into it. That misses down and away. We saw Martin battle out of a 2-strike hole earlier. Has worked the count even at 2-2 here. And the 2-2 is hit to short. Stuffed on the infield, and the throw is in time. Nice play there over at shortstop by Myers, and the side is retired. The Dolphins strand a runner in scoring position, and we head to the 7th. Our score still, Chestnut Hill 7, Staten Island 1. And we're back from the CSI Baseball Complex for the start of inning number 7. Now, Nick, this is potentially the final inning of today's doubleheader. I mistakenly misspoke earlier. As I mentioned, we've had 8 games in 4 days, 4 consecutive days with doubleheaders, all non-conference affairs, 3 baseball doubleheaders, 1 softball. This is the last of those, and then we have a few days off before a packed weekend next week.
No rest for the wicked here at CSI.
Calling us wicked?
Sure, why not?
Maybe off headset.
Yeah.
At the plate here, R.J. Huth, count even at 1-1. Chris Polomini, the new pitcher for the Dolphins. Get you his numbers in just a moment. Chris has appeared in 2 games as a pitcher. In 2 2/3, he's allowed 3 hits, 2 runs, both of those earned. He's walked 2 and struck out 1. Opposing batters hitting at 300 against him, as that's going to be an infield hit. Though it did roll into foul territory, but I think that was a tough play. That wasn't routine.
Now go down to another single for the Griffins, their 7th of the game.
Pinch hitter for Chestnut Hill in this spot.
Well, remember, Sean Levan entered the last inning, I believe, as a defensive sub. He was at shortstop, I believe.
Well, that would be news to us, Nick.
I pointed it out.
At least me.
I did point it out on the broadcast.
You did?
I did.
I must have been one of those days as we were talking about earlier. As that falls in the gap between two CSI outfielders, and a run will come in to score. Huth will score all the way from first, and it's an RBI double for Sean Levan. The Griffins now lead at 8-1.
That was a scorcher in the left center field and a long run for Burkhead to make that play, going over his glove and giving now the Griffins an 8-1 lead here in the 7th.
So, Steph, did we get that sub at short in the last half inning? Definitely not. So what we're going to do.
That's not something good to hear.
Let's get rid of that pinch hitting change we just made. Delete this. Nick, you can take over for a moment.
Okay.
And then what we'll do.
This is Michael Pasco up at the plate. Took a big swing and a miss on first pitch strike from Polomini, 0-1. That one on the inside, call for a strike, and it's quickly 0-2.
All right. You and I need to pay more attention, Nick.
I pointed it out. Excuse you. Excuse you.
I was hoping you let that one slide.
Absolutely not.
Michael Pasco is the batter. I don't know how many times I can say it's been a long week. Though I will admit, the scheduling to start the week was very good because the doubleheaders began later in the day.
Yep.
So with a 2 o'clock start, I can get here a bit later. And then with a 3 o'clock start the following day, I can get here even later. However, the last 2 doubleheaders both required me to arrive at about 10 a.m. I go to sleep pretty late. So to get here at 10 a.m., from right down the block even, not always the best.
Still a little bit of a hassle.
And when you forget to put your dinner out 2 days in a row and have to eat out, not great, not great. I operate far worse when I've eaten junk food. Count now full here on Pasco, 3-2. You know it's been a long week when I'm talking about my eating habits. So somehow they always seem to come up as that gets to the backstop, and a run will score. Levan in with the 9th run of the game for Chestnut Hill, and drawing the walk was Pasco.
I'll talk about food now. I did eat something in between games, but getting a little bit hungry now again.
It looked like you had a soft pretzel from the snack shack.
I had Philly pretzels yesterday, and I toasted them earlier before I came to work. Obviously not hot when I ate them, but still, serviceable enough to give me something to eat for now.
I wasn't so lucky, as that pitch misses inside.
I still have a bag of pretzels from yesterday, worst case, if you need a snack.
Oh, I could use one right now.
You can eat it on the air?
I just might. Where are the fruit snacks? You can chew fruit snacks without being heard on a microphone for most part.
Where's Lou with them?
Runner going. Now, the rule typically is in a 10-run game, the stolen base is stopped. So with an 8-run deficit, the Griffins taking what at this point has effectively become a free base at second. Geiger ahead 2-0 here. That pitch misses inside. There is throwing in the Dolphins bullpen. And it's Ryan Fiore, who if he did come in, would be working his second straight game.
I don't think we ever have. Have you ever seen? I certainly haven't.
I think I have.
Okay.
I think I have. I don't feel like that's too extraordinary. It's easier to work twice on the same day sometimes than it is on back-to-back days.
Mm-hmm.
Polomini issues the walk to Geiger, and Phoenix Bowman will be the batter. Dolphins now in this game have issued 14 walks. really tough to win when you issue that many free passes. And the hit tally, 8-2, obviously a big margin in favor of the Griffins in this game. But we've seen several instances this week where, for example, at softball, the Dolphins out-hit Georgian Court 14-12, yet they lost both games by 2 runs. Sometimes it comes down to the timely hits in games, and the free passes, when they're excessive, as they have been in this game, can certainly swing a ball game completely.
Sometimes it's all about plate discipline when it comes to these hitters. And yes, you want to get a hit. Obviously, boost your batting average up on the season and obviously make an impact in this game. But just getting on base and working counts really makes a bigger difference, in my opinion, than maybe getting a hit sometimes. Because not only can you potentially get on base with a walk, then you're working the pitcher's pitch count up. And that can make the next bat, force a wasteful pitch that could be a dangerous spot for the pitcher at hand.
Well, I've said it in the past many times as that gets away to the backstop. One of the most important things as a pitcher, especially at this level, is to throw competitive pitches that will force hitters to swing the bat and force them to possibly chase a breaking ball that's close enough where you might get a chase on it. And from time to time, those will miss for balls. Not every hitter is going to chase a pitch out of the zone consistently. But many times, if you throw a competitive breaking ball or a good fastball, you will get swings and misses. You will get balls put in play that go for outs. And the Dolphins in this game have not been around the strike zone enough. And you'll have games like this over the course of a year. The important part is not letting that bleed over into the really important games next week as you open your conference schedule against Mercy.
And they really need to bounce back from these games today, Joe. Obviously, going into conference play next week. We know how important conference play, I mentioned earlier, how conference play is when it comes down to these teams. And the Dolphins really could use a bounce back going into next week after today's games.
Well, you hate to go into conference play off a pair of losses and dropping 5 out of 6. But it looks like that's where the Dolphins are headed, barring a late game comeback, as that will drop in right center for a base hit. 1 run will score. Looked like the Griffins could have had 2 there, but elected to stop. Geiger over at third. Well, Fasha will get his second at bat. He is not a pinch hitter. He is now the designated hitter. We're just listening in next door. Oh, they closed the door on me. What is that?
They don't want to hear anything.
And Fasha lines one through the left side for a base hit. The 11th Griffins run comes in to score. It's now 11-1.
After we saw the Griffins, they went the first 3 innings without a hit in this one. They now have 10 here in the 7th, and a commanding 10-run lead.
And the Dolphins will go to the bullpen once again, as Ryan Fiore will come on for the second straight game. So with that pitching change, we'll take a quick break. Griffins lead CSI 11-1 in the 7th. And we are back here in the 7th inning. Still nobody out. 2 on for Chestnut Hill in the road 7th. And Christian Peluso is the batter. New Dolphins pitcher Ryan Fiore. He came in game 1. And we mentioned it before, Nick. I feel like I have seen a pitcher throw in both halves of a doubleheader before. You just don't see it often. But Fiore pitched a scoreless inning of relief, walked a batter, and struck out a batter in game 1. We'll look to do the same here in game 2. However, he does inherit 2 base runners.
Got a strike call there. Now it's 2-1.
2-1 pitch. Hit well toward the left field corner. That ball carrying toward the wall. And that is a foul ball. That ball was crushed.
Yeah, watch out at that soccer field right behind that left field wall.
You know, Nick, haven't had a home run call here at CSI this year at the baseball complex.
We had a couple at the Ferry Hawks, but have not had one here yet.
For CSI, it was Burkhead who homered there?
Yep.
Was that it?
That was it.
Okay.
We didn't have a home run until that one game against Caldwell, and that was it. Both teams had a home run. Actually, no, I'm wrong. Holy Family had a home run, too, in game 1 of the doubleheader.
Our first home run call here at CSI this year for the Dolphins was the Whalen 3-run homer.
Yes.
And then we had the Latour 3-run homer the other day.
Yes.
That pitch misses high and inside for ball 4. And that walk will load the bases. That will bring up Wyatt Spinks as he will pinch hit here. Looks like we might have a pinch runner as well. As I have to admit, I was hungry enough where I had to mute my mic to enjoy some pretzels. Sounds like Tyler and Pat are having some fun next door. That's good.
Yeah. It's always about having fun here at CSI.
It's always good to enjoy your work.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Though I have to admit, perhaps I might not watch this one back later. I always watch the games back. Maybe not this one.
I know you do.
That's chopped to third. And they'll get the out at second. That's all. Spinks reaches on the fielder's choice. A run comes in, and it's now 12-1.
The run for the Griffins in the inning. It's now their second inning in this game, Joe, where they've scored 5 runs.
Runners on the corners and 1 out now. And then Ciotti takes out of the zone for ball 1. Pitch on its way. That's fouled off. We've mentioned it more than once already, but for those who may have missed it, broadcast schedule this week is bare until Friday. No games Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We're back at the softball diamond on Friday. Once again, Nick and I on the call. Barring any unforeseen circumstances, Nick and I expect to be on the call for every home game together, with the exception of next Saturday and any dates with 2 games, plus April 7th. Nick won't be here April 6th. I will be. At least for one.
That first week of April is going to be a tough week for me.
We should be together on the 2nd.
Yes.
I believe that's over at softball. I think we have a game on the 3rd here as well at baseball. As Ciotti strikes out. So we'll get a couple of games in that week, but that first weekend is a big weekend. Nick and I will be in Philadelphia for WrestleMania. So can't miss WrestleMania. It only comes around in the tri-state, maybe once every 5 to 7 years?
Yeah, give or take.
The last one here was 35?
Yes. Yes.
And then 30 as well.
No.
29.
29, yep.
29. So 5 to 7 years.
Yeah, give or take.
Needless to say, I'll be taking a flight out to Ohio for SummerSlam. As that's fouled straight back. R.J. Huth at the plate here. He's 2 for 3. Could be a very busy next few months for me if the Knicks play the Magic in the playoffs. Without a doubt, I'm going to Orlando. There is no question.
I will certainly be at one of the home games for the Knicks, that's for sure.
There's a chance I'd attend every game in that series. Work allowing, of course. You and I will have to coordinate which games so that whatever game you have is the game I'll sell, assuming it conflicts with CSI. If not, then of course I'll go. You're up on the Chase Bridge. I love those barstool seats up there.
They're really good.
Love those seats. My seats are in 224, row 7. Right on the center court line. My season tickets, I will never give those up. As that's hit well out to left, but Huth just got under it. And that will do it for the Griffins here in the 7th. But not before Chestnut Hill adds 5 runs in the inning. They now lead CSI 12-1.
Dear softball, where to begin with what you have given me? I have struggled with you at times, but you have unequivocally made me who I am today. You have given me light in the darkest times where I thought light could not enter. Growing up, you were there for me when social groups may not have been. You were there through familiar hard times, and you never gave up on me. You have introduced me to so many influential people in my life, and I wouldn't have dreamt of meeting if it was not for you. You always kept me motivated to pursue a dream. No matter what was going on in life, you kept inspiring me to chase my dreams. And you have taught me many life lessons of overcoming, perseverance, and what it truly means to dedicate yourself to your craft. You have taught me that success is not guaranteed or promised, and that it is earned every second of every day. Softball, you have guided me, pushed me to be my best, and inspired me. You kept me going when I thought I had no more to give. At times, you were my last hope. You have led me to this moment here, today, where I could not be more indebted to you. My name is Jenna Lilly. I am a senior softball player at the University of Oregon, majoring in sociology with a minor in psychology.
Bottom of the 7th here at the CSI Baseball Complex as Christopher Riley will lead it off for the Dolphins. As they trail this one now 12-1 after a 5 spot from the Griffins in the top of the 7th. Ben Bratt, the new pitcher for Chestnut Hill, as they look to close this one out and sweep the doubleheader. Now a chop down the third baseline, foul, and 1. On deck for CSI will be Owen Weber. We'll have to see if they go the same alternative route they went in game number 1 with the amount of pinch hitters they had. Now misses on the outside for a ball 1-1. That one fouled behind. It's now 1-2. The 1-2. That one swung and a miss for strike 3. So Riley is down swinging to start the inning, and the Dolphins are down to their final 2 outs. Now I'll bring up Owen Weber. Weber getting his first at bat of the day. That one misses for a ball 1-0. Misses high for a ball 2-0 now the count. 2-0. This is high and inside, and it's quickly a 3-0 count for Owen Weber here. That one in there for a strike, 3-1. And that one misses on the outside for ball 4. So Owen Weber will work a 1-out walk and bring up Joe Solito. Riley. That one chopped it short. There's one on the first, not in time. Almost a double play, 6-4-3 for the Griffins, and then that one out away from winning this one.
Well, I apologize, Nick. I put you on the spot there and then unmuted your microphone.
If you needed to know, Christopher Riley struck out looking to start the inning.
So Christopher Riley struck out looking to start the inning. It was a walk to put a runner on first.
Yep.
So they had a pinch hitter here.
Owen Weber was the pinch hitter. He walked. And then Joe Solito right there just grounded out into the fielder's choice, 6-4.
Yeah, so 24 pinch hitter.
And then we have Nick Campese right now pinch hitting for the Dolphins. Takes that one low for a ball, 1-0.
All right, we have some work to do, Nick. I'll be right back.
Okay. We saw Campese in game 1. Was one of the 5 Dolphins that came in the bottom of the 7th. He delivered on. He was actually the first Dolphin of 5 as a pinch hitter to get a base hit. Look to try to extend the inning here, keep the game going for CSI. They're at the top of the order on deck. 1-1 to Campese. Misses high for a ball, 2-1. Going to be now a 2-1 count for Campese here. He takes out low for ball 3, 3-1.
All right, Nick, I'm back. So what happened is the Dolphins, we just got some radio communication from the dugout. I think it was unintentional, however. So what just happened is earlier in the game when the Dolphins brought Chris Polamini into pitch, they actually kept him in the lineup as a bat. So we didn't know that, and the way the lineup was rearranged was not correct. So I'll elaborate if the game continues, but in all likelihood, it'll be a moot point shortly. Here comes the payoff pitch, and Campese lines one to right field. That's down for a hit. And Campese has his second hit of the day, one in game 1 as a pinch hitter, and now one here in game 2.
I mentioned he led the rally in that 7th inning. The first of 5 pinch hitters to get a single. And he's on here with 2 away to keep the game extended. and bring the Dolphins back to the top of the lineup of Michael Keogh.
Back to the top of the order now. Michael Kehoe, the batter, and he takes slow. So the point was, Chris Polamini was moved over from right field to pitcher. He remained in the lineup as a bat. So the Dolphins forfeited a designated hitter, and replacing Polamini in right field was Christopher Riley. Riley slots into the DH spot. So we had kept the DH spot as it was and just moved Polamini out of the lineup and over to pitcher, putting Riley in right field. However, that was not the way the Dolphins organized the change. Count 2 balls and 1 strike here on Michael Kehoe. He's 0 for 2 at the plate in this game. And that hit for Campese, the first of this game for the Dolphins that did not belong to Thomas Martin. Martin was 2 for 2. The Dolphins entered this half inning with 2 hits.
Hopefully maybe Michael Keogh can get them the 4th hit right here. But now the count even at 2-2 with 2 away. Dolphins again down to their final strike.
Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Runner on first, Campese. Over at third is Solito. Also, Nick, I just realized our camera is way off center. You can't even see first base. Bit late now, but we got to catch that next time.
And Michael Keogh will bring home the second run for the Dolphins. He's got an RBI single into right field. It's now 12-2.
That should be a bit better. You can see first base now. That will bring up Brian Burkhead. Burkhead 0 for 2 at the plate. Pitch on its way. That's chopped toward the middle. That should do it. Ball handled it short. And stepping on second was Levan to end the ball game as Chestnut Hill College comes into the CSI baseball complex and sweeps a doubleheader from the College of Staten Island. Dolphins fall 12-2 in Game 2 after falling 12-5 in Game 1. And Nick, obviously this is not the way the Dolphins wanted to proceed forward into conference play, but this is a game that the Dolphins will have several days to forget. They have plenty of time to rest up and prepare for big conference matchups against Mercy University next weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We have the Saturday doubleheader right here on CSI Sportsnet.
We got another busy week next week, obviously, here at CSI, overall for all of our athletics. But as for today, obviously the Dolphins, 2 tough games going up against the Griffins. They were able to make a little bit of interesting noise in game number 1 after trailing 12-2. Got it to 12-5, but just were not able to come back in this one. And then at game number 2, it really came down to the Dolphins were not able to get hits necessary when needed. And also, obviously, the issued walks in this game were a huge problem for the Dolphins. But as you mentioned, conference play is next week for CSI. A lot to be fixed upon going into that conference play matchup, and they need to fix it very, very soon because we both know how important conference play is.
No question about it, Nick. As I mentioned, next weekend we have both baseball and softball opening their conference schedules at the same time. Unfortunately, we have a very, very busy weekend that weekend with both going on at the same time. We have events elsewhere, so our staff is going to be all over the place. As for me, I'll be here at baseball on Saturday, both doing the stats and calling the game. So double duty for me. Softball will have live video with audio from around the CSI softball complex. We will not have a commentary team there because we only have one mixer. So my personal mixer will be in use for a company event. I won't be able to bring it here next Saturday. So with just one mixer, we can only have one broadcast with a broadcaster. However, there will be audio from the game over at the softball complex along with video next Saturday. But until next weekend, when we cover softball on Friday, this has been Joe Foreman, and for my broadcast partner Nick Bavona and all of us here at the College of Staten Island, thank you for watching. Our final scores today: Chestnut Hill wins Game 1 12-5, and they take Game 2 by a final score of 12-2.